Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful week. Let me take a moment to fix the screen. It's so wonderful to be here with you guys.
Everybody. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful week.
Okay, we are live. Thankfully, it worked great. Hold on a second. Let me close this. Okay, great. Awesome. So great to see you guys. How's everybody doing? Let me share this. If you guys want to share this, please do. It's such a pleasure to be here with you guys. And welcome to Self-Love Sundays. Hello, Jason, Carissa, Angelina. So great to see you. Sharon, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yeah, you can join either on Zoom, which you can sign up for, or you can join me here live. Either way is good. Terry, so great to see you. Launika Yoli. Zay, welcome. Great to see you guys. How this works is you can either join on the Zoom. Hello to everybody in the Zoom room. Elaine, Nicholas, Simran, Emma. It's so great to see you guys. Who else am I missing? Angelina. So Self-Love Sundays, every week we get together and we meditate. We go deep diving into the subconscious mind to access any kind of root problems or programs that are blocking our ability to come into our highest expression. And essentially, the kind of work that we're doing here today is so essential to the great awakening that we're experiencing in this world at this time. And really, all the work that I've been doing, over the past 10, 15 years is dedicated to teaching and learning the cultivation of your life force and the science of that, the biology of that, because this is the future, okay? And right now, we're going through this heavy haze, it seems, this spiritual haze. A lot of people are having such difficult times, spiritually, emotionally in their waking process. But we are going through this awakening process in which we're going to begin to shift how society is living, how society is experiencing reality. Is my sound okay, guys? I'm not sure what bouncy means. I wonder what bouncy means. Yes. Okay. All right, great. Want to make sure. I guess it's like maybe wavy. Is it not stable? Yeah, I'm not sure why that is, my love. Yeah. So let's hope that we can get through without too many technical issues. This has been a very interesting month for technology for me. It's just been quite fun to deal with all kinds of funny things that are happening. But anyway, all right, guys, let's get started. So the technology that I'm sharing with you, this biological technology of spiritual alchemy, spiritual ascension, spiritual work, is really designed to prepare you for the changes in this world that are coming. And also the new way of being human, the new way of how societal structures are going to be, the new way of how we are interrelating with one another in this world, and also taking a look at new ways of creating, new ways of manifesting, new ways of creating communities and societies and parenting. So all of these elements are going to be very important. And the way that I'm trying to teach this information is obviously from the inside out, because these changes have to be done internally first, and then they are expressed out into the external world. So everything that you and I are working together here, particularly in understanding our alchemical biology, is going to be affected by these major transitions that are happening. And in the same way that you and I are going through the transition, the planet Earth is going through that transition as well. And all the planets and the cosmic bodies, which are also, they are entities of consciousness, are intercommunicating and affecting the planet Earth as well. So on the planet Earth, each one of you are cells of this organism called the planet Earth. And all the planets in the solar system also have their own cells, their own entities. And a cell being a self-sustaining structure, a self-sustaining fractal of source, And that fractal is manifested through the natural laws of its environment, right? Which is why our human bodies function the way they do, which is why we're made up of the chemicals and matter in which we are. And it also defines our energy structure, how our energy structure is created, how it's designed, how it's expanding around us, how it interacts with the other dimensional bodies as well. So you in yourself, you are an organism of consciousness, and there are many organisms of consciousness in your life. Every single human is an organism of consciousness, essentially, is what I mean. But the interconnectivity beyond that really is defined, but by how we are generating our life force and sharing and exchanging that life force. So we open up levels of expansive awareness of our neighbors, being the human beings that we interact with, but also interdimensionally in your dream time, you are opening yourself up to even higher awareness, more expanded awareness of the beings and entities that you're connecting with in higher dimensions as well. So it's important for you to be aware of that expansion, especially in your dream time, because a lot of you that are activating your intuition at this time, your abilities, your gifts, you're harnessing this very subtle awareness. You are the ones that are communicating in higher dimensional planes with your higher self and channeling information that is extremely important for you at this time, and very healing and regenerating for yourself. And to harness that information, to utilize those gifts and to anchor through the body in order to bring healing for yourself, your ancestral lineage, the planet Earth, the collective in a whole, is the reunifying and the creating of new neural pathways, or the healing of this bioelectrical web into interconnected organisms in which we are exchanging with. And the higher our vibration is elevated at, the higher the rate of exchange becomes with those that we interact with in waking state, such as our family, our children, our partners, and then, of course, the bigger picture, which is these systems. So we are constantly sharing information. We are interacting in dream state. We are traveling out of body. Where you go out of body depends on your vibrational frequency. It depends on the limitation of that out of body experience. And it also will depend on how far you are able to transcend your experience out of body. So this becomes available to you as you become more aware of yourself, as you practice lucidity in your waking state. The more lucid you become in your waking state, which means that you're able to master your life force, master your emotional body, because your emotional body is the bioelectrical charge that is inputting into this creation. And the more you are able to do that, the more you are able to access this information. Okay, so I want to share with you, I'm going to open the floor for questions during this first part. So I'm going to share a presentation with you because there's a couple of things that I want to share with you about the sun, which is why I'm put together this event on October 25th, talking about DNA and the sun. And the reason why I received a download that it's very important to have this conversation about what the sun is and how we interrelate with it is because it's not a coincidence that there are these powerful solar flares that are happening right now. Okay, the solar flares are the activation of the solar DNA. Okay, remember that DNA is not just it's not just this concept of a little, coiled strand of information that lies within each cell of your body. It's not just like that. The DNA is actually, it's a very, very heavy, very complex information manual that brings all things into life. Okay, so us organic beings of consciousness, but also other kinds of animal life, other entities and other species. And depending on where this life force is manifested into a living organism, we are going up into higher dimensions And there are other organisms, other entities, other species of beings that are also interacting. And all of that information is encoded in the DNA, in the holographic DNA, which is an extension of our DNA, which is available to us through our vessel. Okay, so the more that we activate our DNA, which means recover the suppressed memory of who we actually are, what we are is all and nothing simultaneously, trying to transcend this limiting belief systems of the physical body. Okay, because when we only see ourselves as the physical, we are cutting off immense aspects of ourselves. Okay, which are going to become more pronounced in the next few years, in the next 10 years, really. But we're going to look out to 7 years as the years of major transformation for humanity on this planet Earth, because things are going to speed up. Science is going to speed up and it's going to change, our concepts of religion, concepts of society, and a lot of the political and global events that are happening right now are setting the foundation for those changes. And I want you to trust this process, okay? Every single human that is going through tremendous turmoil in their lives right now, whatever it is that you're experiencing, family things, family conflicts, more social conflicts, global war, whatever it is that you're experiencing, please understand that this is part of this this invitation for the transformation of humanity. And we need to open our eyes to what needs to change in our world. It is a reflection of what needs to change internally, okay? So the things that we are experiencing internally, these constant internal wars, these dualistic ideas, getting distracted with, all of these things that take you away from the divine connection to your divinity, okay, to your divinity as this multidimensional organism of consciousness navigating the material realm, creating in the material realm consciously, creating in the material realm responsively. Okay, so we have to notice, and our most immediate, most impactful creation is through the emotional body. So whenever our emotions are completely in chaos and we are existing in a profound amount of stress and anxiety and survival, we are cycling at lower states, which are only going to help you, which are only going to access your immediate genetic information, which is repetitive programs of survival and suffering that all of your ancestral lineage has been repeating for a very long time. And we really need to wake up consciousness to begin to understand how productive have those repetitive cycles been for our lineage. How has it helped the humanity transcend out of suffering through those generations? And is it productive for us to continue in those cycles of existing in the past? Because when you're not in the present moment, all of your emotional energy is charged by the past. And the past that is being charged is really, if you would look at your energetic body, when you are not in the present moment, it looks dim, it looks contracted, it looks stagnant, it looks heavy, it looks dense. Okay, and a lot of you are asking, why am I not clear? Why don't I have clarity? Why can't I move forward? Why do I feel depressed? I don't feel like moving. I don't feel like just sitting here. So there's several elements that we need to understand, because it's about energy. You are an energy being. Okay, you're not a physical being. And the more that you get distracted in the physical, the less you're going to know how to get yourself out of these holes. And honestly, these holes are going to get more dense and deeper as we progress in these higher vibrational frequencies. Why? Because the more you resist to be in the present moment, and the more that you resist to be aware of your emotions and your energetic body, the more difficult it will be for you to, shift that frequency. It's not going to be difficult. It will feel heavier. It will feel heavier. Okay, because the contrast of these frequencies is quite great. And there is when we hold really low vibrational frequency for a long time, obviously the organism goes so out of balance, so out of harmony, that it begins to destruct itself. That is the natural architecture, natural flow of energy. That's how energy functions. Okay, so slow, stagnant moving energy fields create illness, stagnation, pain, suffering, disconnect from the source. Bioelectrically, right? We're not a conduit. Okay. Psychologically, we can't move past repetitive. We're like on replay. Remember old cassette tapes? There was this little thing where you could just repeat the same little part of your cassette. Okay, so in that same way, like it's like we keep being stuck there. We just keep repeating. So, and then of course that happens emotionally with emotional patterns, and that also happens with relationships. It happens with your career, problems in your career, problems with colleagues, coworkers, managers. It's about the way that you exchange your energy. If your energy exchange is coming from a place of stagnation and disconnect, that's what you're going to get. Okay. And I've talked about this many times, but essentially we manifest what our core subconscious beliefs are at the root. So if we are not becoming aware of what are those little heavy little parts of you that just don't want to break away and make those changes that are necessary to allow more life force to move through you, more life to be expressed through you as you, the fears, the paralyzing fears, the stagnating doubt that we have within us, the fear of the unknown, the need to control, these are going to be the things that are really kind of highlighting our ability to either move into higher levels of creation or not. Okay, and that's just simple physics. The simple physics of your conscious organism functions in this manner. Okay, so we want to understand that collectively, it's a reflection of what you have internally, but your attention has to be in the here and now. Your attention has to be in your physical body, right here, right now, what you're doing and how you're doing it. So the future is spirituality and science combined. It is the integration of spirituality and science. And we kind of have to, there's an invitation for us to begin to become aware of that integration. And because there are certain ways that this body functions, and the more that we utilize that awareness of how you function to become more co-creative, it will benefit your bloodline. So go ahead and put your questions in capital letters. If you guys have any questions, any burning questions, what are you guys going through? What's the biggest blockage that you've had this week? Go ahead and put it in a chat, whether you are online on Zoom or in the YouTube. What is the biggest blockage that you've been having this week? What are the heaviest emotions that you've been feeling that are difficult to transcend? And let's start there. I'm going to open my PowerPoint because I want to talk a little bit more about how these bioelectrical systems function, because this is the future science. And in the future, we're going to be using bioelectricity to regenerate organs, to literally build and regenerate organs, okay? Because this system, and I'm going to share with you this incredible interview that Michael Levin did just a couple of weeks ago, he's a biologist that focused on this development of the morphogenetic field, but he starts talking about the philosophical element of this awareness of the morphogenetic field. I mean, more and more, it's being understood that when certain bioelectrical charges are directed and stimulated within the field, it results in matter. Okay. So literally manifestation is being studied from this perspective of biology and physics. And it's really what we know, you and I, have known through our meditation practice and through our internal work, and especially through alchemy, because the alchemization of these profound, deep emotional states results in the manifestation of a harmonized body, harmonized mind. It's the integration of these dantians, the lower, the middle, the upper dantian. Okay. Okay. So let me go into the chat here, some questions. Thank you so much, everybody. Love you. Thank you so much for joining me. It's so fun to have you. James, welcome. So great to see you here. Yeah, so James, he says, when I speak to others about preparing for what's coming, just get blank stares. Yeah. So, the thing is that, we really, although we love to share, and the same goes for me. I can sit here and talk about this stuff until I'm blue in the face, but in reality, it's completely up to you. It's completely up to you, the work that you do in your life, and it's completely up to me, the work that I do as well. So the only thing is that hopefully we can become examples, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that today because it does relate to the morphogenetic field. But when you become an example, you become a force field of information. It's bioelectrical information to your energetic body, okay? And that example of how you hold space for yourself emotionally, physically, in this present moment generates a giant force field around your body that begins to affect your environment. And your environment will respond and adjust to that. So in my experience, the best way to affect change, especially in the people that we're around and with, is by becoming an energetic example of it, okay? And an embodied example of it, in which we are literally embodying this awareness, because your life, in form of what you're manifesting, in form of the harmony that you're existing in, the peace that you're embodying, how you transform difficult situations into conscious states of being, and joy and peace. That is the greatest learning example for those that are around you. And it's not for everyone. And, this beautiful, this earth has different ways of teaching people different things. And that's something that we have to understand. Every human is in their own path. They're embodying, every human has their own wisdom also. They have their own wisdom, even in their seemingly twisted or inverted ways of seeing reality. They still hold some level of wisdom, and they can apply and emerge from those truths when they're ready. But here's the thing: if they were completely out of alignment with this greater whole, the body would just completely dissolve. It would die. And we see that every day. People that end their lives, or their lives end as a result of illness or sickness or depression, whatever it is, that organism has reached such a low state that is no longer in resonance with this existence. Okay, so that's why we need to understand the law of free will is really absolutely present in and through every human in this universe. We have to respect that. We have to respect that. And yeah, it's not a time for separation, which means judgment. Okay, and that I see a lot of people, talking about politics, for example, or these, very, very polarizing situations. But please understand that these polarizing situations, the way that they're presented to you through media, are meant for manipulation, and they're meant for distraction. They're meant to keep you charged in a very specific emotional state. Regardless what's happening, doesn't mean what's happening isn't important or isn't necessary or isn't good to know at some point. But the emotions that you hold in the body, there are people that become so emotionally charged when their team lost, their football team lost, things like this. That is a major creative bioelectrical input put into the system. Okay, so when we have a lot of people being emotionally charged by things that have nothing to do with themselves and their healing and their evolution and the transformation of themselves or their lineage, and the betterment of their lives, that's a depletion of life force. And they have all the free will to experience that. But we have to be mindful when we fall into those little subtle cycles, okay? Zay says, is hypnosis the best way to change our subconscious beliefs? Yeah, so really hypnosis is the way that we become changed in our beliefs, okay? So because the majority of our lives, we actually exist in a state, a certain level of hypnosis. And we are influenced subconsciously and subliminally by many things that are surrounding us at all times. Okay, so that being said, first come into absolute silence. Learn to silence this little voice that wants to be analytical, judgmental, that is in states of fear. Okay, so that running little mind that keeps wanting to control things, that has to be silenced. So I would suggest to begin, if you're just beginning, practice Vipassana meditation or meditations that are deeply focused on the reconnection of your mind and body and the development of your awareness, which is the true I, which is the true observer, okay? The one that is observing your senses, the breathing for long extended amounts of time, which will allow you to deprogram the addiction to the biochemicals that are stimulated by any externalized distractions. Your core subconscious beliefs are running on the addictions of your biochemical addictions, okay? So, for example, if you are in a constant state of feeling fearful, all of your emotional reactions and states will be playing and repeating that out, okay? So try silence the mind first, practice Vipassana and silencing meditations for some time, and then start to be aware of your triggers would be the next step. Okay, start to be aware, observe yourself throughout the day, from the beginning morning till the night. How many times are you triggered throughout the day? And what are the things that are triggering you? At the end of every day, review what were those triggers and notice the emotions. And you're going to begin to notice that you have patterns of emotions that you're experiencing throughout, today, yesterday. You have patterns of emotions throughout the past week, throughout the past month. Now you're getting some real information because that is the direct link to your subconscious beliefs. You are triggered by the things that are in your belief systems. Okay, so that would be the next step. But in order to get there, you do need to train yourself to silence the loud, busy mind that's distracted in the external. And my invitation is to practice that Vipassana and then start to come into the observer. Okay. Geraldine, how can we cut the cord and detach from all? The please, love from Australia, Santi. Hi, Santi. Love you. Santi's amazing. Okay, so cutting cords. Let's talk about that energetic system and how we create cords to the body. So think of a neural pathway. Hold on, let me see if I can find. You know what I'd love to show you guys? For those of you that haven't seen how a neural pathway functions. Okay, let me see if I can try to show this to you. Let me share this. So this is a video of what it looks like when you learn something. Look at these beautiful little neural pathways. Okay. So look at how their little web-like stretches are extending out to connect to this little neuron. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you learn something new. So when you're meditating, when you are in meditation, in the state of meditation, and you are reinforcing an old belief system, let's say fear and anxiety, okay, the neural pathway it just fires electrons between each other. Okay, it just fires between each other, this bioelectrical charge. And the repeating of this belief system over and over again just strengthens that connection. When you're in meditation and you're beginning to learn something new, okay, it creates a new connection. Okay, so the new connection, look at how it comes over to this guy and connects with it. That is what it means for you to have repeat belief systems or change your belief systems. So this is very much a biological, physical thing, okay? And as you can see, you create matter. The word creates matter. It creates you. You are creating yourself with the things that you're speaking, the things that you're understanding, learning, thinking, all affecting your organism. Now, epigenetically, we can go even deeper into understanding the deeper levels of how, we are creating these. In this same way that you see these little neurons and these little arms that are coming out of these neurons to connect, human bodies, imagine that every single human's energetic body looks exactly like this. We create these little pathways, these little arms, we extend them energetically to those that we are in resonance with. But as you can see, there's what we think of this empty space around the neuron, we think that it's empty space. But actually, it's an entire network of bioelectrical system, which is the morphogenetic field. Everything that is around this little neuron, there are particles that are charging and oscillating to create this bioelectrical network. Okay. Every single human looks like this energetically, but millions of these little tiny arms. That's how the human organism looks like. And the human organism essentially is connecting by resonance to those that we interact with and we connect with subconsciously and energetically. How? Through our subconscious belief system. Okay, so when we have a certain core emotion, so if you begin to notice that your core emotion throughout the past week was anger or fear or insecurity, for example, the people that you are interconnecting with are going to be an exact match to that emotion. And every time that you are triggered by some kind of, because what's going to happen, because you guys are in resonance, because your core beliefs are like that, you're going to co-create scenarios, conversations, experiences, exchanges that are going to be charged with that emotional bioelectrical charge. The bioelectrical charge is encoded with that emotional data. And you will notice it. You guys are gonna, first conversations are superficial, but as they start to go deeper and as you connect and spend more time with the person, the things that will begin to trigger you are going to be the exact reflections of the things that are actually not in alignment with you. So essentially what happens is that cords and connections that are created between two humans are essentially through this bioelectrical network of the emotional body. And the cord that is going to connect from you to another human is going to connect to the part of the body in which most is the highest resonance, where you store the resonance information within your body. So in this example, it connects down to, let's say, the sacral chakra. Okay, the sacral chakra, profound feelings of insecurity, jealousy, feeling unworthy. Okay, so it comes along, finds a friend, and everything seems really great. But then little by little, this person starts to feel a little jealousy when they start to hear, all the great vacations and wonderful things that this other person did last week. Okay, now the comparison that starts to happen through the subconscious mind, first of all, the interaction of this person, the way that they express the information of their past week, the way that they share it, all of it is really coming from the same energy of jealousy and unworthiness that this person feels subconsciously. So what creates the cord is that. Okay, so in order to cut a cord really truly, now energetically, we can cut this cord, and how we cut it is we cut the cord on their end, and then we cut the cord on our end. Okay, and what we do with the cord is that we send it up to source. We reconnect it with source. Why do we do that? What is source? Source is unconditional love. Source is the all. It's the infinite potential. Okay, but in order to even begin to do that, you have to be aware, and you have to connect with your body and feel, where are you holding this heavy emotion that creates this connection to this other human that you're interacting with. And as you begin to release these cords, what you want to alchemize and you want to recognize is what is the mirror between yourself and the other that you're trying to cut cords with. That's how you exist on a high level of awareness. This is how the alchemist navigates their life. They don't just go into random relationships without, really connecting. And the alchemist or the human that is operating at this conscious state is going to listen to the gut feeling and to the intuition through the energetic bioelectrical organism body that is already providing information through the body. Okay, so for example, let's say when they first met, she felt butterflies in the tummy. Okay, she just felt this, she thought it was excitement, right? It's like, oh, at first I find a friend that I can connect with. Everything sounds so great. And all the butterflies in the stomach are providing information about mirrors that subconsciously are being picked up through this body. And because she's externalizing her awareness, she's not very familiar with what that feels like, what that looks like. Okay, so immediately the magnetic attraction of both these individuals are oscillating at the vibrational frequency of the emotions that they're mostly feeling, repeating throughout their day. Okay, so are you more expanded or contracted based on the emotions? So how do you, and let me tell you that cords, we want to cut them with everyone, okay? And what do I mean by cutting cords? Because when we cut cords, we're not really, we're not actually cutting cords in this way where I just gave you this demonstration of this image here, of this cord being cut. These little neural pathways that we connect, these cords we have millions of them, because all of the vortexes that we have in the body, we have millions of little micro vortices that make up this whole entire body. They actually bring the cells together to create the physical organism that you have. You're made up of vortices. And all of these little vortices are portals. They are portals, as we know portals. They are connections. They are neural, bioelectrical transference organisms of information. Okay, they transfer information through every single vortex that makes up the cells of your body. It transfers information. It holds information, it absorbs information, and it transfers information, releases information. So as a collective, your entire organism is doing that as well with your environment. And the connections that we have are older and newer based on the density and the longevity that we have been reinforcing them. So the cords that we have, because we are holographic and we are multidimensional, we have cords that connect us to our ancestral lineage. Okay, so our mother, our father, our immediate family, cousins, uncles, we have all those connections to our immediate family that we're dealing with. And those are going to be pretty stronger, heavier cords that we have. Those cords are the ones that have to be alchemized. What does it mean to alchemize? It doesn't mean eliminate. Alchemy is about the transformation of one form of frequency into higher operating form of frequency. That's what we're doing. So in this case, if down our lineage, we have a long line of unworthiness that makes people come from the place of lack, that are jealous, insecure bloodlines. Okay, this is one emotional state that I'm giving an example of. We would want to review and alchemize, where do our belief systems of lack come from? Okay, and then go back to the previous generation before that, mother and father, grandpa, grandma, great, 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 on and on and on, back to our ancestral roots. You will find incredible awareness of how the origin of jealousy, for example, in this example, becomes incarnate into man through history. You will discover that as you do this kind of work. And the reason why we want to go further back, the further back that we go, we begin to understand collective suffering, collective traumas. This should allow you to understand compassion. Because the more you understand the cause and effect of these generational traumas in yourself, you begin to recognize them in others. This will help you discern when you meet the person next time. You will recognize the patterns. You've seen so many examples of that down your own lineage, through your mother, through your father, through your grandparents. You've seen it over and over again, how in this example, jealousy is manifest into the physical, how it affects, how it has hindered the lineage, how it has hurt individual people in the bloodline, and how it hurts you every day, for example. You begin to understand and discern and recognize those emotional triggers immediately as you navigate this physical realm amongst your peers, amongst your fellow humans. Another thing that happens is that as you begin to broaden your perspective of every one core subconscious emotion that makes you in resonance with a relationship, you begin to grow your energetic field, because you become aware of broader ways of seeing scenarios, and less events trigger you less. And this is the true alchemization of a core subconscious belief system, is that eventually it doesn't trigger you. And what I discovered is that when I healed my childhood trauma, even the memories of those childhood traumas would not create it would not trigger the pain body anymore, because the pain body had been seen, had been heard, had been communicated with, had been addressed, had been healed by the alchemization of the pain of the memory into a higher octave emotional state through my meditation. So anytime somebody would, like, let's say a family member would come and try to remind me of that experience, or, maybe they were still in the trauma of that experience, my response would not be the same anymore. It wouldn't be coming from that pain. Oh yeah, that happened. Because a lot of our pain comes because we ourselves are stuck in an archetype that was developed through that experience. And a lot of times those archetypal roles are victimization, lost, so many different kinds of confusion, disconnect, helpless states of being that are formed in childhood as a result of these traumatic experiences. So we want to learn how to begin to discern and navigate. So in other words, the alchemization of a cord is not so much of cutting them as it is of alchemizing them. What does it look like? Exactly like this. So when you have a cord, you have a really dense emotion that you're sharing with someone. Okay, the density of that cord is defined by how long you've been feeling that way and how often you reinforce that emotional subconscious core belief. And it's a bioelectrical charge that is littered with memories, emotions, programs, belief systems about yourself that are stored within your energetic body, many of them. So if you have a lot of heavy parasitic cords, so let's go to the next step. A cord usually is parasitic because your energy is being depleted from your body. Because you are in resonance to this other person that in the same way has all the same core belief systems and emotional bioelectrical charge in the body, their body is depleting as well. Okay, so what happens is that we weaken the entire conduit system of this organism. We deplete our life force by repeating these helpless states. And these, the more we reinforce on a daily basis the belief systems of unworthiness or lack, whatever it is, we actually lower each time the frequency of these energetic memory points that are in our body through the bioelectrical emotional system. We reinforce and they become more crystallized because, again, they're exercised over and over and over again. I had this, my father beat me up. My father abused me over and over again. That's the story. My father abused me. My mother abused me. Okay, so what happened is that essentially the bioelectrical system is crystallizing these more and more and more and more and more, and you begin to see physical ailments in the body. Okay, so aches and pains. Absolutely, when you begin to shift this frequency, the pain will eliminate from the body. The illness will resolve itself. You will find some harmony in the body. Okay. And there are many levels of illnesses, and we talked about that in some other calls, but depending on how long you and your ancestral lineage has been repeating and reinforcing these programs, the illnesses that result as a result of these core belief systems are going to be more deeper manifested in the DNA. So like really lifelong severe illnesses, like, you know, coronary heart disease or some kind of deep disease that is passed down through the generations. Regardless, we are not married to our genes. That's why we're not married to the genes. The genes can be changed by creating a different environment in which doesn't support that illness to exist in the physical body. So in the same way, we are addicted and we are to this cord. It's a bioelectrical structure of parasitism in the body. So when we have to clear the cords every day, because the clearing of cords is the awareness of your triggers. The clearing of the cords is the awareness of the subconscious core belief systems that are running your life every single day. To change this, let's say all of a sudden this person becomes aware and now they no longer want to feel jealous and unworthy of themselves. So they begin to transform, okay? They turn that jealousy into self-worth. They recognize, hey, I'm worthy. I don't need those things. They begin to change and embody this feeling. They begin to heal these memories. What happens? You're no longer a resonance to this person that you were depleting and parasitically connecting. That is the true cutting of cords. The true cutting of cords is to no longer be in resonance. Okay, because you have alchemized your bioelectrical connections. In meditation, you can cut cords energetically. So I'm telling you the psychological, biophysical way to do it. Now, energetically, you call back your life force because the human has, you know, even though this human took a minute to recognize this core belief system, the human instantaneously can be in charge of their energetic body, okay? instantaneously. So let's say in this moment, the person just wants to eliminate the connections to this other person. So they are going to call back their life force. They're going to notice the hole inside of their field, because wherever you have cords to people, you also have tears in your energetic field. We talked about this last week. Okay, so wherever you have tears in your energetic body, you're going to seal them. You're going to immediately begin to feel your energy coming back, and you're going to visualize the other person. You're going to visualize cutting cords on their end, cutting cords on your end. You're going to connect. You're going to send those cords connecting to source, and you're going to inhale to call back your life force. Because this was a parasitic exchange, you guys are resonating at the same imbalanced exchange. So you have to rebalance the energy that has been given and that has been taken, because what happens is that not only do we deplete our energy, but we take on what doesn't belong to us. So, you know, when let's say that they feel the jealousy, they begin to embody the subconscious belief systems of the other person, or they feel that they have to, suppress their emotions or suppress their feelings. Okay, so whatever it is that you're feeling, begin to observe what are the patterns. This is the resonance, is to return back to the 0 point. Okay, every single time, every moment of your day, return back to the 0 point. You are all in nothing simultaneously, and in this present moment, you are fully aware of your body. Remember GPAC. Grounding, protecting, aligning, co-creating. Okay? Let me see what other questions there are. Okay, guys, unless I'm missing some questions, I'm not seeing them, please put in, if you could just kindly put messages in the chat that are going to be questions in capital letters, okay? All right, guys, so let's jump into the meditation. The way that we work with this body, that is so important, that remember that everything around you, your multidimensional body is so much bigger. Okay, it's everything. You have the entire universe inside your body. Okay. All right. Let's begin with the meditation. And if you guys have more questions, please go ahead and put them, and I will try to answer them at the end of this meditation. Okay. All right. Let's start by breathing deeply as you inhale. And exhale. And with every breath you take, as you allow yourself to come into a state of complete relaxation and calm. Go ahead and ground yourself down to the center of the earth. You're going to visualize the center core of the planet, and you're going to create an energetic cord that connects your body all the way down. Focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. I'm going to shrink that chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up to your sacral, shrinking that chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up to your solar, shrinking that chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up to your heart. You're going to expand your heart chakra, about 6 feet wide. Expand your throat. Expand your third eye. And go up to your crown, expanding the crown. Go ahead and activate your creative color. Your creative color is your highest vibrational frequency that is also addressing all the core wounding that needs to be addressed now in order to enter a higher octave. Go ahead and put that color up into your crown, into the area. And your crown looks like a pie chart. The pie chart is representative of all the elements in your life that make up balance of your whole life, physical and non-physical. You're going to use the color of your highest expression. Your color of your highest expression represents your higher self. You are going to intend to align all areas of your life with your higher self. You're going to start with your career. Align it with your higher self. Put in that color. Your relationships, family, acquaintances, friendships, love, your most romantic relationships, your most intimate relationships, abundance, creativity, sexual energy, and creative life force. Your health, your vitality, your spiritual connection, learning, and evolution. And finally, your purpose. What are you here to do? Go ahead and align your higher self with all of these areas in your crown chakra. You're also going to go up to your 8th, aligning yourself with source. You're going to open the channel connection between your source, your higher self, and your physical by activating the 8th. So go ahead and expand your 8th chakra. And you're going to fill the 8th chakra with your higher self, because it's through the higher self that allows the frequency movement. So when you enter these colors into the chakras, you're changing the spin rate of your multidimensional body. Okay, so that means that you're oscillating at a higher frequency, which will allow certain kinds of emotions to enter in your body. When you're disconnected to source, you cannot feel anger, you cannot feel hate. These heavy emotions feel distant and they don't feel as embodied. Okay, so what we're going to learn to do is we're going to learn to anchor that into the physical body. So in the same way that we open the channels to the higher realms, you're going to open your channels to the lower realms, because the more dense realms, in other words, because the dense realms are the physical world, this physical world that you live in. It's also the earth, nature, this physical construct. Go ahead and visualize a bubble around your body, or a sphere. This one sphere, you can imagine a balloon, you can imagine an inflatable bag that you're walking into. Whatever you need to do in order to strengthen the visual of yourself inside and aware of your energetic body. The spheres and the layers that extend around you. We have 13 main layers, and we're going to clean them. We're gonna clear them of the debris. The debris is all the subconscious programs that we're reinforcing unconsciously throughout our day by continuing to fall asleep every moment, in which we reinforce these programs to exist in the body, in the mind, in the field. Go ahead and visualize from the center of the earth a powerful wave of green life force that comes rushing up into the body, creating a vortex of energy. Make that vortex big. From source, go ahead and bring down a powerful wave of gold cosmic energy coming down, combining with the green earth energy. Take 10% back down to the center of the earth. I want you to clear your energetic body from the crown of the head down to the base. Imagine that you're clearing all 13 layers of your bodies. You're noticing heavy, dense blockages. You're noticing debris. You're noticing shapes, forms that are, we call them pictures of things that are tied to memories. They can be childhood memories. They can be memories of yesterday that have crystallized as emotional patterns in your space. You're going to clear them out. You're just going to feel them as heaviness, as blockages in your energetic body, and you're going to move them out. Your will creates, and it happens instantaneously. So as soon as you decide that you want to eliminate that out of your body, you're shifting your frequency with your intention. And you're also coming into a 0 point because you're sensing and feeling and clearing that. You're sensing and feeling through your 5 senses right now. Some of you might see these blocks. Some of you might feel them. Some of you might hear them. Some of you might taste them or feel them, or just know that they are there. Whichever way is easiest for you to tune into your own information, do that. So the vortex of green life force that is there, we're going to create a channel of elimination for this green and gold energy down to the center of the earth. So just imagine that the gold energy is coming down from source, combining with the green at your center core, and then continuing down into the center of the earth through your body. And as that golden energy cycles through your vortex and down to the center of the earth, the earth functions like a recycling mechanism. So everything that we're eliminating from our body that's dense, heavy energy becomes instantly transmuted as it goes down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and allow yourself to clear. We're going to take 80% of that combination up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your field. So this is where we cut cords. Okay? This green and gold life force shoots up your spine. From the crown of your head, it creates a fountain on the outside of your field, which is really like little thin layers that are going in between the 13 layers of your body. Okay. And as it goes to clean in between the layers of your 13 bodies, you are clearing the matrix. So all the cords that you have that connect you to people, places, and things out of these immediate circles that you just cleared now, because everything that you cleared just prior is things that you've been engaging with in your life right now, family, friends, everything that's in your immediate circle. So we're going to begin to clear more collective connections, ties, attachments that we might be having to the matrix, attachments to physical things, attachment to places, attachment to concepts of ourselves, identities, people. Go ahead and clear. Send it all down to the center of the earth. Some of you might feel like you need to send it up your spine because you are a toroidal field. You can eliminate this from either point of your energetic body, either up or down. And usually the way I see that is that everything that we clear from the upper part of the body is actually, it's mostly the upper layers of the chakras, okay? So remember the gold energy that comes from source, coming into the body, go ahead and clearing. Okay. We're going to take that final 10%. We're going to bring it into the body now. Go ahead and visualize that we're going to fill the inside of your sphere with this gold energy. Surround your entire body. On the outside, it's also going to absorb into the pores, into the flesh, into the bones, down to the cellular level of your body, transforming any darkness into light, any heaviness, anything that no longer serves us. Go ahead and sit aware of your breath. Try to come in as much stillness as possible. I want you to begin to see yourself over the past 24 hours. Compassionately observe yourself. What are some of the triggers that have come up for you over the past 24 hours? And as you begin to recognize those triggers, notice the emotions that are coming up in your body. Go ahead and select the strongest of those emotions. If you have a hard time identifying with them, sit with them, feel them through the body, and acknowledge all of the sensations that come up as you feel them. You're going to turn all the sensations into emotions. And you're just going to name them out as you feel them. Every acknowledgement is a release. The more still you are, the more you observe, the more clear things are going to get as you allow that information to emerge for you without the need to control, without the need to change anything. Just observe, see what emerges. Everything that you begin to see coming up, you're not going to judge. You're just going to allow yourself to acknowledge in your body as it comes up, as you feel it. You're going to each time relax your abdomen muscles or the muscles of your whole body so that you can allow the information to be expressed. When you contract your muscles in meditation, you contract and suppress emotional information. So as you continuously bring yourself back into a super subtle state of release, expansion in your muscle system, your mind can more easily translate that suppressed emotional information into a language that you can understand. It can be memories, it could be images, it could be emotions in your body. Go ahead and read your body, read what is there. And some of the information might seem quite abstract at first. Allow yourself to come into that subtle observation and let that information provide you its own form. Let it take form as you sit in stillness. Notice when you want to try to control or resist or avoid the things that are coming up for you. Just bring yourself back to that gentle observation, non-controlling observation. Notice how much energy it might take you to resist something. As you begin to observe the main core emotions, allow yourself to notice how familiar you are with these thoughts, these beliefs that you're observing. Take yourself back to the very first time where you experienced this belief, where you recognize this belief in your life. Some of you might access some overwhelming memories or things that normally trigger you. Just observe all the trigger emotions that come up, and you're not going to react. You're just going to let yourself feel them, observe them in the body, how your body reacts when you do feel them. And just keep observing beyond that point. And usually the reaction, the physical reaction will lessen, and it will leave you with some information about why we reacted that way. Go ahead and see the parts of you that are believing this program. And you're going to ask yourself, what is it that this part of me needs in order to no longer feel this way? What would it need to know? What would it need to believe about itself to not exist in this way? Go ahead and allow these parts of you. I want you to see all the fractals of yourself from birth up until now that have repeated this program. You're going to shine your crown light on top of them. Go ahead and provide them with everything that they require in order to alchemize this state. If they, for example, our example of earlier, they're constantly feeling jealous, what do they need in order to not feel that way? They need assurance, they need support, they need love, communication, affection, acknowledgement. Name everything out without having to judge what you're naming out. A lot of us, we are ashamed of what we need. Try not to block what you actually need. Let everything flow organically. Whatever realization you're having, let it emerge. You can see all your fractals merging into one self in front of you. Go ahead and inhale deeply, taking this fractal into your body. Go ahead and visualize releasing the cords from all of these memories of the past and the people in those memories. You're gonna breathe deeply, inhaling, calling back your life force. Go ahead and shine your light on top of them and see a contract that represents the relationship that we've had and the programs that we've learned. Go ahead and shine your crown light on top of all these contracts, and you're going to eliminate them. Go ahead and take a look at all the fractals of yourself, and you're going to infuse them with compassion, with truth. Very good. And as you begin to integrate these fractals of yourself into yourself, you'll notice that you feel more expansive, breathing deeply. Going to go ahead and focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and open that back up. Sacral, the solar, the heart, the throat, the third eye. I'm going to go up into the crown. Go ahead and illuminate and just notice what color do you see in your crown, if it's changed at all. If it's the same, I'm going to go up to your next eighth. I'm going to activate the ninth, activate the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, 19th, the 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24. Go ahead and see that white light of source. Bring that white light down into your body. You're going to anchor that white light into your heart, into the sacral, into the perineum, down into the center of the earth. Breathing. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, come back into the room. And you're going to continue to see your multidimensional body, your grounding cord. Be aware of your 13 layers. Okay, you guys did amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was such an honor. And if you guys have any more questions, please put them in the chat and I will answer them next time. You can put them in capital letters. You can also message me through the website. And if you want to work one-on-one with me in DNA reprogramming, you can book a session on my website. I'm super happy to work with you. And of course, hypnotherapy, you can also do that when you're ready. Let's see, Charles has a question here that says, how do we know when we're optimized in energy? What are the signs? So I really suggest to create like a very subtle communication with your own energetic body. This practice it's not so much of like it's a definite sign of when your energy is optimized, and it's not so much that we are optimizing energy for productivity, like actual doing things, but it's a constant regenerative conduit of creative life force that is essentially allowing you to be in a state of harmony. So when you are in harmony and you are in peace, that's how you know that your energy is optimized. When you're the embodiment of the 0 point, your energy is optimized, because that is the true form of coming into a conduit. You're an infinite conduit of life force. Okay. Yeah, and then you're not as triggered. You're not as triggered by external influences, things that people say, things that people do. You maintain a very strong foundation, internal foundation. That's when your energy is optimized. I'm going to go into the Zoom. Thank you so much, guys. Lily White, thank you so much for that super chat. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Dorina, love you. Kevin, I love your meditations. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for hanging out with us. Zay, thank you. Much love. Nicolas, Lisa, thank you. Everything is always changing, and these Sundays are so supportive. Love you, Geraldine. Thank you. And please do tell me, how else can I support you? I hope I didn't miss any questions. Let me see. Hold on. When you talk about paradigm shifting and the new paradigm coming, what will be happening and what will we need to embody? It's a big question. Okay. There's a lot of things. A lot of the events that I'm putting together, I have a heavy schedule of events that I'm going to be doing till the end of this year. And I really invite you guys to sign up for them. I'm going to try to make them as accessible as possible to everyone as I can. My classes are pretty heavy. I try to put as much information and also combine it with hypnotherapy and things like that. But you know, what's going to be changing is an entire paradigm shift. The way that sciences are being explained, the way that we live our lives, the focus of our lives has to shift from an old paradigm of being in a state of survival. And that's a really huge thing, because a lot of different systems have to adjust to that. Because when we're in survival, we're supporting the pharmaceutical industry and also capitalism and consumerism and things like this, okay? And although those things can exist in some way, and they will still be existing, the idea is that we are elevating the octave of the existence of those things in a way that is more harmonious and sustainable, that has everyone's benefit in common and in mind. Because right now, a lot of these exchanges within our own lives, with our own relationships, are very parasitic. We don't even know the extent of the parasitism in which we're existing ourselves. So that level of awareness of what we are doing, how our actions are impacting the collective, that is a huge paradigm shift that each human has to take responsibility for. And the change of you coming into that awareness in the next couple of years is what will change this world. Okay, so that requires us to change our habits, our addictions. It requires us to change where we invest our money and where we're spending our time. So that in itself is a major change. And in order to make those changes, we have to heal the wounds inside of us that fuel that behavior to begin with. Okay. So connect with yourself, sit with yourself, observe the triggers that you have, understand what's driving you. If the majority of the things that are driving your actions and your intentions and your projects are validation, are coming from a place of lack, are coming from a place of getting approval or being loved, or externally, or being seen or being communicated with, those will all continue to cycle old paradigm behaviors. If what you're doing is coming from a regenerative source of divine connection, of wisdom, and you are self-sustaining in all of your needs, like your love, your support, your guidance comes from your intuition, your crown, you are self-regenerative in your life force, you will exist very differently on this earth, because the way that you exchange money, the way that you exchange communication, energy is going to be different. It is absolutely inherently different. So that changes everything. It changes your relationship with your kids, with your family, your husband. A lot happens. Okay. So the focus is there, but how this world will be changing will be massive. The way artificial intelligence is going to change as well. A lot of systems in this world, it's going to expedite a lot of the things. Things are going to move quicker. Resources are being utilized differently. And I don't have enough time to go into all of those things now, but I will explain them more in some of the coming classes that I have, because I'd love to share that information with you. Also, thank you, Laura, for that question. Thank you, Julie. Laura says, I feel so much guilt and shame that we need a home. So simple, but doesn't happen simply. Okay, Laura, so I think we need to revisit what we're worth, what we deserve. We always end up on other people's land and eventually have to move on. Now I want a ground somewhere sacred and cultivate a lovely home for my children. I've never wanted a home before. It's very confused about this. If it's my ego needing a home, or if it's basic need that I should just accept, right? The universe is gifting us. How do I feel deserving when I have been told no? Exactly. That's really what it is, and what I pick up immediately. We need to understand what we're worth. We need to understand what we're worthy of having, and we need to get it. Okay? Because you see, we have a lot of shame concepts, and it gets very confused in spirituality. Your basic needs and the things that you truly desire are completely available to you if you hold that vibrational frequency and you hold yourself up and are responsible for what you're co-creating. You will manifest that, and that's exactly what will be. And the money and the resources to cover your dream life and your dream living in your dream house will be available to you if you're in alignment with that. So that's something that has to be cultivated. Address your fears, address the doubts that you have, the beliefs that you have about why you wouldn't be able to sustain the kind of lifestyle that you want. Address that, because your freedom and your ability to access it lies in those little parts. And those are pretty deep, like heavy little sticky energies that we've been having for a long time. They're very profound doubts that keep us in stagnation, keep us in the inability to change our habits. Maybe we need to change our life habits, what we value. Maybe we need to change that in order to actually get the life we want. Those are extremely important changes that have to be taking place, which are participating in the evolution of humanity at this time. Okay. All right, my love. Thank you so much for your questions. I love you so much. Angie, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. It means so much to me. Please do share this if you found value, and I will see you next week. Oh, my love. See you soon. Bye, guys. Bye, Elaine. Bye, Emma. Bye, Frody. Bye, Esteban. Nicola.